Hello and welcome. My name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Today I am recording a autumn/winter plans video. I've been through my Ravelry queue and I have moved things around, updated my top 10, and I've got all the yarns out here to show you. A little bit of a funny tale for you. This is the second time that I'm recording this episode, and the reason for that is I got quite a few interruptions yesterday, and when I recorded the second half of the video I didn't realise that the sun had moved and the lighting was terrible. So let's hope the second version is the improved version. So I have, like I say, been through my Ravelry queue. I've got the top 10. I've also got yarns for all these top 10. I'm hopeful that over the autumn winter I can get a lot of these made. I'm not sure if this is definitely going to be the actual order that I knit them in, and I'm still going to be working on my 2023 whips, and that's currently my partner's sweater and the colourwork socks that I'm doing this week. My idea is that I continue with what I'm doing at the moment, and from the 1st of September I can start with these plans and casting one on while still working on my 2023 whips. Okay, so the first pattern that I want to talk to you about is the Woodland Loafers by Slade. Now, as I've just said, all these patterns are in my Ravelry queue, which there will be a link to in the description, and also I will put all the pictures and the names of the patterns and designers on the side here so that you can easily find these if you're inspired to knit the same patterns. So yeah, the Woodland Loafers by Slade. This is one of my Gizzy Bingos squares for the year. So one of my crafting challenges to myself was to knit a pair of slippers. Now, since mentioning these, my mum has asked if she can have a pair as well. So I've decided that the first pair of slippers that I'm going to knit is going to be for my mum. And I think that's the only yarn that I've not got ready at the side here. So I'll just grab that. So doing this video for the second time, I thought, oh, I'm super organised. I've got all the yarns out ready. There's no rustling of packets. And then I forget to bring one of the yarns. This is in a Willow Bay bag, which is lovely. It's great for, this box style is great for 2 at a time socks, if that's something you like doing. And the yarn that I'm going to be using for the slippers is this Malbrigo Chunky, and that's in colour 033, which is Cerisa. Really hope that you can see the colour. The lighting might not be fantastic, unfortunately, because it is very, very early in the morning, and my lounge doesn't really get the sun much, apart from yesterday when I was trying to record this. So I'll just give you some details on the pattern. It is, like I say, by Slade. And that yarn that I've just shown you is the recommended yarn for the pattern. It is a 16 stitch gauge and it's on 5mm needles. It's done in the round one piece and it's seamless with short rows. So yeah, I think they'll be very fun to knit. I have seen quite a few different slipper designs. She does quite a few other ones that look interesting, and some boot style as well. But also I've got the 52 weeks of socks. I've got volume 1 and volume 2, and I've also got the 52 weeks of accessories. And those books, they have a few slippers in as well, but they've got intricate colour work on most of those. So I thought it'd be better to try knitting a plain pair first, and then have a go maybe later in the season, or maybe next winter, try doing some colour work ones once I've you know, figured out fully my attention and gauge with colour work. Oh, and I didn't tell you the composition of this yarn, did I? Don't know if it actually says on here. Just let me have a look. No, it doesn't, which is a shame. Okay, so the second pattern that I'm wanting to make this autumn winter is the Linaceae by Tricot Design. Now this isn't strictly an autumn winter plan. This is one that I'm carrying over from my summer knitting plans, and that's because I have a 100% linen yarn that I feel as though it's a challenge to myself to knit this into a wearable garment. I've heard lots of podcasters talking about how hard linen is to knit with. I did, but then the finished garment is really nice because the linen softens up after blocking and more over time. And I've seen some beautiful garments in 100% linen. So I saw on a podcast, and I can't remember who it is, someone knitting this top, and I just thought it, I really liked the shape of it. I liked it because it has a more open neckline, and then I'd already got some of the midwinter yarns, Lithuanian linen, which is what I'm going to be using for this pattern. And then I did do a swap with Mona, and she kindly swapped with me, and I got another skein of this off her so that I had enough to do this top. I'm going to be holding it double. The recommended yarns are Drops Bell or the Dirurum Natura Antigone, or I don't even know how you say that, but that's 100% linen yarn. And obviously the Drops Bell is a blend. Needle size is 4mm, and it's 22 stitches gauge. So yeah, it's like, it does look you know, like a normal t-shirt construction, but like I say, even if I cast this on, I do a few rows a day, and then I've got it for next summer, I'm happy with that. But I just want to challenge myself to get to use this yarn and make it into a wearable garment. That's the tag. This is the colour. Yeah, and it's midwinter yarns, Lithuanian linen, and it's 100% linen. It says it's a heavy lace slash light fingering. It's 450 meters per 100 grams, but they did say that if you hold it double, then it is good for using in replacement of a DK. So have you knit with 100% linen? Was it worth the time and effort or not? Okay, so number 3 in my Ravelry queue is the Porcelain Sweater. Now I've had this on my queue for quite some time. I originally when the porcelain sweater was going round and quite a lot of podcasters were knitting it, I wasn't sure it was for me. It's very oversized. Well, a lot of the versions I've seen are very oversized, although I think a Homespun House has done a more fitted version with a pop of colour, which was quite pretty. I saw her wearing it on one of her vlogs the other day. But yeah, so the Porcelain Sweater by Lene Holme, Samsoe, is based on the traditional porcelain pottery that is the white and blue colours. So a lot of people have done it in the white and blue version, and with the blue being the contrast colour for the colourwork sections. It is a 21 stitch gauge, the needle size is 3mm, and it's Sanders garn that is suggested. Now, they hold a fingering with a mohair for this sweater, and I knew I didn't want to do mohair. And the reason I decided that I did want to try knitting this sweater was I saw a picture on Instagram, and I'll post it here so that you can see what I'm referring to. It is this sweater, but the blue sections for the contrast colour and colour work are done in bright colours, and I think it had red, and then it had lilac and purple, and as soon as I saw it in those colours it changed it for me, and I thought, yeah, I really like that. Now I think I have got enough yarn for this for doing the oversized, the size recommended for my for me, which would be quite oversized. Does it say on here excuse me, just looking to see if it says the ease actually on the pattern. It doesn't, but I think it's definitely easy, 20 centimeters or more. Anyway, that's a side note. I probably will do the size recommended or the size below. Sometimes if I do a garment that's too oversized, it just feels like it drowns me. But I thought I wanted this to be a lovely, cozy, oversized sweater for winter, because I've not got many garments like that. Me and my partner took a trip to Tangled Yarns in Stockport. He went to a model shop while I was in Tangled Yarns, and this is where I got the yarn for this sweater. The shop was lovely. It's a mother and daughter that run the shop, and there was lots of beautiful yarns to look at, and they let me browse for absolutely ages, and then they were so super helpful and friendly, and they helped me pick out the yarn for this sweater. And the main colour that I'm going to be using is the Fibre Co Luma, and this is in colour Blanca. And let me just tell you the composition, because this composition for this yarn isn't necessarily traditional for a warm cozy sweater in winter, but it has got 50% wool, 25% cotton, 15% linen and 10% silk, and it just feels like a dream. So I'm hoping that even though it's going to be a lovely cozy oversized sweater, it won't be too warm because of the fibre content. I didn't want anything fuzzy, didn't want anything that was going to be prickly or itchy. And the lady in the shop, apologies I don't know her name, she said that this is a dream to knit with as well, so I'm really looking forward to it. And my contrast colours that I'm using for the colour work are these three. So I've got a blue, a lilac and a plummy colour, and these are 100% merino for the contrasts. And I do think that that will be a lovely, lovely sweater once it's finished. I didn't want to get knitting on that too soon, because it feels like quite a special going to be a special knit for me, a special garment, and I wanted to do a bit more practice on colour work, which I have now done with the few socks, and I'm glad I have because of my tension issues. So hopefully it won't be too long before I'm casting that on and you'll see it on my podcast. I'd love to hear if you've knit any of these, if you're planning on knitting them, if you've got the yarns. So number 4 in my queue is a pattern that I have got a very special yarn for. One of my all-time favourite yarn dyers is Isla, and I discovered her at the Woolly Good Gathering earlier this year with the yarns that we got as part of the it was like a Kickstarter or some such thing. It was so you pledged and supported them for the show, and then as part of that you got some yarns, and one of the yarns was an Isla yarn, and that's one of my favourite knitted garments to date, and you will have seen me wearing that, and I have mentioned it quite a few times on the channel. And the yarn that was sent for that was a fibre content I hadn't used before, and that was 50% wool and 50% silk, and I absolutely loved how that turned out. Beautifully soft, which I like a softer yarn, and lovely drape, and the top just, I feel, looks great. So I knew when I went to Woolly Good Gathering I wanted to get some more of hopefully that base, or another definitely yarn from her. Now when I saw her at the show, she did say that unfortunately she didn't have any of the 50% silk or 50% wool. So I had a look and I found this. How beautiful is that? And this is the yarn base Easdale, and it's 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, and it's beautifully soft and bouncy. This colour is rose quartz. You can see, look at the lovely drape on that. Now I'm making this into the Calm Down Cardigan by Lily Kate France. I absolutely love her patterns. Some of them are a lot more fitted than I would normally wear, so aren't always a style I would wear, but the patterns of hers that I have done, I absolutely love the construction. They're always very interesting and engaging knits. So I'm looking forward to doing this Calm Down Cardigan. She actually did a red version, which is very, very nice. It's a DK pattern, and it's a 22 stitch gauge. It's knit on 4mm needles, and it calls for a DK weight, which that yarn is. And yeah, I can't wait to knit with that. Okay, and number 5 in my queue is the Slightly Sassy V by eSher. This is not necessarily a autumn winter, well, it could be classed as autumn, couldn't it? I class this as more of a transitional piece, because the one that I'm hoping to knit and inspired more by is the 3/4 length sleeve version that she has. The suggested yarn for this one is Dirurum Natura Albertine and Pearl Soho Linen Quill. Like I say, the version that inspired me is the lilac-y purple version. It's a V-neck, 3/4 length sleeves, and I feel this will be quite a nice transitional piece. I did see that the Woolly Worker, she knit a version which turned out lovely as well. I think hers was in a blue colour, but I can't remember. Blue or lilac, one of the two. I am going to be doing this in a Zakami yarn. It calls for a 4-ply. It's 24 stitch gauge, done on 3.5mm needles. So I might have to go up a needle, maybe to a 3.75, because normally when I knit on a 3mm needle with fingering weight, I normally get about a 30 stitch gauge. And the yarn that I'm going to be using for this is this. This is one that I got at the Woolly Good Gathering. I hope you can see that. It is colourway Turkish Delight. And this again is a 50% baby alpaca, 25% linen and 25% silk. So hence why I'm saying it's probably going to be a transitional piece. Looking at this against my skin, it looks okay now because I've got a bit of a tan. Who knows what it's going to look like when I'm pale in winter. But Vneck has actually just used this Turkish Delight colourway. I don't know if hers was on the same base as what I've got here, but yeah, she knit it up into a shawl, I think it was, and it did look lovely. So hopefully that will be a very, very beautiful, slightly sassy V. And number 6 on my queue is the Very V-neck Raglan by Jessie Maed Designs. Jessie Maed's patterns are really, really nice. The finishing touches she includes, I've done I think 2 of her sweaters. One I've just recently finished, and actually the other top that I did, the outline tee without the outlines, which is the Isla top that I'm referring to, that is one of my all-time favourite garments, is also a Jessie Maed Designs. This one is like I say, the finishing touches that she does, like on the Cozy Classic Raglin that I've just made, how you cast on for the neck, it just looks beautiful, and her patterns are always very easy to follow. So this one I am doing, it's a DK, sorry, and it's a 20 stitch gauge, and it's 4.5mm needles, and this pattern I am doing in a yarn that I got for Christmas last year off my dad. And obviously I picked the yarn, and it's a yarn that was inspired by Chelsea from True Lane. And it's a Sorella yarn, and it's in the colourway newsprint, and this is the tag. It's 100% superwash merino wool, 231 yards in 100 grams, and it's classic DK. And it is this beautiful colourway. I saw her knit up a high-necked sweater, I think it was a high-neck sweater in this, and I just loved the how the finished garment turned out. And then Sorella announced that they were going to be doing another batch of dyeing the newsprint. So I was like, oh yes, can I have this for Christmas please, Dad? I've not yet knit it up, but I'm looking forward to doing that. Okay, so the 7th item on my Ravelry queue for the autumn winter plans is the Field Day Cardigan by Ozetta. Very popular pattern. I've seen quite a few podcasters knit it. I think that you do the button band as you're working the rest of the garment, but I might be remembering that wrong. It's a DK pattern, and it is 22 stitch gauge, and it's 4.5mm needles. Now the pattern photos for this, it's you'll have seen them at the side here. It's a lovely beige colour, and last year, I think it was around July time, I took part in a Kickstarter initiative with Ula and Leah. They do it every year, and you back them to a certain pledge a certain amount to them to help them go across to Mongolia and get the fibre, and in return for that then you get so much yarn and you decide how much you pledge. And I got a few sweater quantities which you will see in this video, because I think 2 of them are mentioned here, and I ordered some specifically for knitting this cardigan. Now when the colour came, it was a little bit darker, excuse me, than I was expecting, and I'll show you it now. I have knit with one of their yarns before, one that came in my Kickstarter parcel, and it was lovely to knit with. Very good knitter's experience, but this one in particular was a little bit darker than I was expecting when I actually received it. It's a natural sand DK, and like I say, it is made in Mongolia. It's a 196 meters in 100 grams. So yes, I'm looking forward to see how this knits up into a cardigan. I've not knit many cardigans. I've got one cardigan on the needles, and other than that, which is a Daft Days, and other than that I've not really knit any. But I'm sure that will be a great wardrobe staple. Although that colour, I'm not sure that's a colour that whether it'll go with anything in my current wardrobe, I don't know. I can always wear it with jeans, I'm sure, or trousers. Like I say, I just was hoping it was a bit paler. I'm sure it'll still be nice. So number 8 in my queue is a Keep It Warm sweater by Yeon Lee, and this is quite a challenging knit. If you've seen any of my recent podcasts, you will know that I do sometimes have a little bit of an issue with yarn overs, and but as soon as I saw this pattern on my Instagram feed, I knew that I wanted to push myself, challenge myself to knit it, because I just thought it was so pretty. Now this is done with a fingering and a fluff, but I am just going to be doing it, sorry, with the same combination. Although I've said to you that I'm not really doing fluffs. Early in my knitting journey, I did buy some Rowan Cashmere Haze, and I thought that I could use that in this pattern. Hopefully that will be softer than the other fluffs that I've used. I don't know until I try, and as I already had it in stash, I do want to use it up. I did manage to get it on sale when I bought it, so that's pretty good because it's not a cheap yarn. I'm also going to be pairing that. So this is the Rowan Cashmere Haze, and does it say that? And this is 40% alpaca, 30% cashmere and 30% silk. Lovely and soft. It's not really got the fuzz or haze, because it's called haze, but it's not really as fluffy as mohair or alpaca fluffs. But it's quite a very creamy beige neutral. And then I'm going to be pairing it with this beautiful Giddy Yarns colourway, and it is the Tale of Jamama Puddle Duck. Now I had all these books growing up, and when I saw this colourway I just knew I wanted to get this, and it's an 80% superwash merino and 20% bamboo. And this pattern is a lace with a fingering, so DK weight, 20 stitches gauge, and it's on 4mm needles. And if you've seen the picture at the side, it's got a lace panel going down the front. It looks like it's a raglan, and it's got lace, a kind of lace section again along the raglan, and it's also got a lace section running down the centre of the arms, but it's just so pretty. It's a bit more of a higher neck than I would normally do, possibly a twisted or half twisted rib. And yeah, I just think it's so pretty that I thought I wanted to challenge myself, stretch my skills, and I thought, you know, practice, patience, perseverance will all help with this project, and just keep doing it bit by bit. And as long as I use the stitch markers, you know, where I need to on the pattern so that I can keep track of where I'm up to, then I should be fine. And number 9 on my Ravelry queue is the Laua Cardigan by Soumine Kim. I think she's a Japanese designer. I was discussing with Vanessa from My Creative Garage patterns to use my blue fern advent for, and she'd mentioned a lace pattern, and I was like, oh, I'm a bit thingy on lace, but you know, I'll and she's like, no, persevere, keep trying, lace isn't as hard as it seems. So after that, I went looking for potential lace patterns that I could do, because the one that she'd shown me, I wasn't quite sure it was a me pattern. I think it was the Whitmore cardigan, which is very popular. But I found this Laurier cardigan. Now it's an all over lace pattern, but something about it just called out to me. Now my blue fern yarns are a fade, and I am going to hopefully knit this from light to dark. I may not need to use all 4 of the skeins that I've got, because it is a short sleeved cardigan, and again this is more of a, looks like more of a summery or spring garment, but making my advent yarns into wearable garments that fit into my wardrobe, really, I feel like I've achieved something when I've done that. It really does, you know, make me happy, because these advent yarns, they cost us a lot of money, and to put them into blankets or into shawls, I haven't got much need for many blankets and shawls. There's only so many I need, whereas putting it into a garment that I can wear just seems like a big achievement to me. So I was really happy when I found this pattern. It is knit on 3.25mm needles, and it does call for a fingering weight yarn. And I'll show you now if I can. I'll just rest my iPad on my knee. It's going to be hard to hold these yarns up, but these are the 4 that I got from my 4 weekly advent. So every Sunday in advent I got a yarn to open, and I have left my stitch markers on as an incentive, so that when I knit these up I can use the beautiful stitch markers that I got with it. One was a shell, one was a flip-flop, it was a beach theme. This one is called, this is the first one, and it's called Sandbag, and it's on the Luxe 4-ply base that she does, which is 70% superwash merino, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, so very, very soft yarn. I did also get the Christmas Day skein, which I'll just show you because I've got it out here, which is Sparkling Bay, but this has got much more deeper tones in it. But I'll probably just use that for socks. So Blue Fern yarns, yeah, highly recommend her yarns. This year she's been doing some fabulous colourways. I did actually get the landscape minis from her January club, and the colourways in that were beautiful. I made some socks with those. I am hoping that at some point I will be able to get a sweater's quantity of the pink, because I want to do a cardigan in it if I can. But as you can see, I've got plenty to be getting on with at the moment, so I don't know when that will be. Okay, we're on to the final pattern now, and number 10 is the Mudo by the Petite knitter. Now, what drew me to this pattern was I saw Coco Amore Knits, I think it is, on Instagram. She is a prolific test knitter, and she's fantastic knitwear outfit stylist. The way she styles her knits is lovely, and she's a very, very talented knitter. Her garments look very, very polished. She did a version of the Mudo. I'm not sure if she test knitted it, but she's, and I'll put the picture here of her, of the way that she knit it. And she did it, the colourway she used was a, I think it was a pale grey. And then with the colour work, which is quite a simple colour work yoke, she did it with the pop of colour. And when I saw it done that way with those colourways, it really did call out to me, and I thought, oh yeah, I quite like that. And she did short sleeves as well. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the sleeves. But when I went to Yarndale last year, I did pick up a colour for the contrast colour, and then I also ordered an Ula and Leah colourway for the main colour. This is done in DK on 3.5mm needles, and it's a 22 stitch gauge. Excuse me. And I'll just show you now the colours held together. These are the ones that I am looking to use. So the bright colour is called Neon Flamingo, and this one is the Natural Platinum, which is like a greyy taupe colour. The Ula and Leah is 100% yak wool from free range yaks, again made in Mongolia, DK weight. And this is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And I think that they will look lovely together. Like I say, I've still not decided if I am going to be doing the, well, it looks to me as though it's 3/4 length sleeves rather than full length that she's done in the pattern, in the photos. But like I say, the one that inspired me was a shorter sleeve. I think it was like just above the elbow. So that's the top 10 patterns on my Ravelry queue coming into the autumn winter season. Have I inspired you with any of these patterns, or are these patterns already on your list? And have you got the yarns for your next few knits that you're casting on? Let me know in the comments, and also put in any patterns that you're about to do, because it's nice to get inspiration. Now, there was one other thing that I did want to mention to you on this video, and ask for your help and advice. So when I went to Rome, I did get this yarn, Lana Grossa Alessia, and this is, I think it's 76% cotton and then 24% polyester. It is a DK weight, I think. Yep, DK weight. I'll show you up close. Now, I got 3 of these and they're 50 grams per little cake. And when I got back, I was like, I was talking to my friend Mona and saying that I should have picked up more really, because I want to make a top and I've not got enough. And so she was like, well, why don't you stripe it? And as soon as she said that, looking at this colourway, I thought, how gorgeous would that be for a Christmas Day top? Now I'm thinking that what I could do if I striped it is to use this with, and I'm thinking what would probably look good, but you can give me your suggestions as well, is either a navy or a black or maybe a dark plum. I'm thinking a darker colour will also look quite nice for a Christmas Day outfit. But yeah, if you've got any pattern suggestions or yarn suggestions that I could pair with this, I'd really appreciate the help with that. And I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. Hope you've enjoyed the video and you've got some knitting in while you've been watching. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely week. Bye.